Hey, Chris.
Yeah, Robert.
Hey, who do you call if you get injured on the job in a post-apocalyptic Australia?
Who?
Furiosa.
Maybe our monologues are terrible.
Welcome to the Cinefanatics. My name's Robert Adams.
I'm Chris Adams.
And we've got a spoiler-free review for Furiosa.
A Star Wars story.
A Mad Max saga.
Fast and Furious saga.
Fast and Furiosa.
Ah, there you go. We got it. Made the connection.
That is, I guarantee, I'm going to call it out right now. That's what Honest Trailers is going to refer to this when they eventually release the Honest Trailer video for this.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, Fast and Furiosa.
Come back after you watch that and let us know in the comments if we're complete idiots for saying that.
It's okay, Screen Junkies. We'll give you that one for free. Anyways, yeah. As I said in the Out of the Theater reaction, I'm not a huge Mad Max fan. I've only just recently finished watching the original 3.
I haven't seen the original 3 at all.
Yeah. I just rewatched Fury Road. I did like Fury Road a lot more.
Fury Road is good.
On the second rewatch. This movie is very much in the same vein as Fury Road.
Yes.
Go figure. It has the same characters. I'm not saying anything revolutionary here that's blowing anyone's minds, but it is the same kind of cinematography, the look, the feel, and I like that.
Location is still Australia.
Middle of nowhere. Yeah, the original Mad Max movies are very like desaturated, while these newer ones are very saturated.
They were a product of their time, and these new ones are a product of their time.
Yeah, and I don't know like what your color correcting techniques are back in the day on film. I think a lot of that needed to be adjusted in camera on film instead of like what we can do now, like what I do with this video in editing is we can digitally color correct.
Yeah.
So you're seeing this, it's not as drab as it is as we're shooting it. I've increased the saturation, these colors pop. It's the same thing that they're doing with these movies, and it looks phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's one of the many things that you can tell that George Miller has utilized as a tool in these movies as compared to the original trilogy. I like these movies, and when I say these movies, of course, I mean Fury Road and Furiosa. I like these in contrast to those in terms of seeing the progression of George Miller's skill in filmmaking. Because what I think, and again, yeah, just because I haven't seen the original trilogy does not mean I don't know about it or know the look of it, how the movies are, what they're about, all that kind of stuff. But I like the progression where all of them feel like an adult child, and I mean this in the most sincere and complimentary fashion. It feels like an adult child who got all his toys together and figured out how to make a movie with them, essentially. The old trilogy, it looks like a bunch of like mashed up Sid from Toy Story Hot Wheels cars kind of coming together.
These still kind of look like that.
These new ones feel like Sid from Toy Story Hot Wheels cars with flamethrowers.
And a guy playing a guitar
and
on
a
the
guy
top
playing
of
a guitar
or
that
death rig
is a flamethrower
with a bass. Yeah.
It just feels like the progression. When I say the progression, I mean these feel like the completed vision of what he initially probably wanted to accomplish with the original trilogy. He just now gets all of the technology, the money, the funding, whatever, the power and ability to do it the way he truly wants to now. And I think we all win because of that.
Yeah. I don't know. So I don't know much about George Miller. I know like the
Happy Feet.
Talking about, the progression of his movies. I mean, obviously he took a break from the Mad Max movies and went off on
Babe.
I don't mean to be judgmental, but a weird tangent where he did Babe, Pig in the City. He didn't do the first Babe. He did the second one.
Pig in the City.
So it wasn't even the first Babe, the big one that everyone loves. He did the sequel that people probably love. And then the 2 Happy Feet movies.
That's like, was it John Carpenter? Is it John Carpenter I'm thinking of, or is it...
That did what?
No, I'm thinking of Scream.
Wes Craven.
Doing
Music from the Heart.
Yeah, Music from the Heart.
Yeah, it's just...
It's the only, like, non-horror movie he did. horror movie,
Pretty
or
much, I believe,
or
so.
almost horror movie adjacent.
There's nothing horror about that movie at
Yeah.
all. It is a little weird, but like I know George Miller at one point was going to direct a Justice League movie. There was that Justice League Mortal that was going to come out.
I could see that though. I could see that happening. I could see that working.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly who all was on the cast. I know some person who potentially likes maybe a fan of Hannibal Lecter was going to play Batman or something like that. We don't talk about him anymore.
Oh, interesting.
He's also got baking soda named after him, apparently. But
crazy.
beside the point, I'm kind of curious as to what his vision of Justice League would have looked like, given what we see, the quality that he puts into these Mad Max movies.
I would say it looks like the Zack Snyder Justice League, but with more color.
Probably. Good point.
Bingo. But
Bring
anyway,
us the Millerverse.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah, this movie was a lot of fun. I do think I had more fun with this movie than I did with Fury Road. And it might be because I didn't, again, not being a Mad Max fan, I didn't really have a point of reference with Fury Road. I just went into this movie like, okay, there's craziness all over the place and whatever.
absolute chaos.
While this movie, we come into it knowing that she comes from the Green Place. Well, we know what the Green Place is if you watch Fury Road.
Yeah.
We know I can't remember the name of the group of people the tribe that she comes from. I was already familiar with that, so I was like, okay, I'm following the story better this time. We know where she ends up in Fury Road, so we're just needing to see the points of how she gets there. This problem with, was it Dementus? And then we've also got her interactions with Immortan Joe.
Yeah.
And then she's got to lose an arm apparently at some point. That's all the stuff that we have to follow in this movie, and I feel like it made it much easier to at least connect with me.
I think the great thing about this is, yeah, I agree with you on that aspect. There's a lot more familiarity now with characters going into this. We know where Furiosa ends up, so we get to see where she comes from in this one. I think the great thing is there's a lot of lore that I feel like George Miller got to expand upon here that almost feels like it was actually written down prior to making Fury Road. Like the whole reasoning for her losing her arm, like he automatically introduced her as a character with an arm missing in Fury Road. So in his mind, he already had a storyline reason for why she is missing an arm. There's a reason for that character missing an arm. Like he has a story for her already. And I feel like that story was already pre-planned, and this is that story. Obviously, with time and funding, he got to flesh it out a little bit more and bring life to it.
Flesh it out.
But overall, it really feels like he is building upon a universe that he already had these preconceived ideas for, which is, again, just another reason why I really enjoy this and Fury Road, because it feels like a director who has a vision, has a completed vision that he knows exactly how he wants to bring it to the screen, and he acts on it and utilizes literally every tool possible to do so. And the studios trust him enough and going, hey, here's the money, go ham.
Yeah, after the reception of how well received Fury Road was.
Yeah.
Looking at this, first of all, Anya Taylor-Joy, I think she does a phenomenal job. Now, granted, my one and only complaint that I will say, any person could look at Anya Taylor-Joy and go, you do not look like you're going to grow up to be Charlize Theron. Those are two very drastically, distinctly different looking women.
Yeah. Generally speaking, yes. If you just look at them by themselves as individuals next to each other, yeah, absolutely not.
But I mean, that is my only complaint, and it really doesn't matter.
Acting wise, I feel like their characters were just neck to neck.
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy did a fantastic job of bringing that life that Charlize Theron brought to Furiosa back to it, while also giving her own spin on it as she is playing her in a younger, maybe just kind of learning how to deal with the hate and the anger that she builds upon over time.
Mm-hmm. Also, I don't know her name, but shout out to the little girl that played the younger Furiosa for like the first third of this movie. Pretty much.
held the show down for like half the movie almost.
Yeah, anywhere from a third to almost half the movie. We're focused on the younger Furiosa, and she just does a really good job. Especially because, like, I don't know if anyone's seen reports, but there were people talking about like how little dialogue Anya Taylor-Joy has in this movie, and because her character just really doesn't speak that much after all the trauma and stuff that she goes through.
I like to also think it's like a mirrored rhyming situation to Mad Max. Because Mad Max and Fury Road, I don't really remember speaking a whole lot either.
Not for a while. Once he got comfortable with Furiosa and the wives and everything, it became a lot more. Once they started working together, that's bait. Yeah. But I think that little girl just does a really good job. Also, what I also read into that by being silent is her character is intelligent enough to be able to think quickly, and one of those things is stay silent.
Yeah.
One of the parts where we first get her to meet other people, there's a whole thing about like, I want to talk to so and so. I will talk to so and so, only so and so. And she's learning the value of, I don't need to be speaking all the time. I can keep things like close to the vest without having to reveal everything.
Yeah.
And I like that for her as what the little girl did and what Anya Taylor-Joy continues to do with that character throughout this movie.
Yeah, and then also to put in contrast against that, we have Chris Hemsworth, who doesn't shut the hell up the entire movie. Which, to his credit, is fantastic.
Yeah. Obviously, Chris Hemsworth and his prosthetic nose they chewed all the scenery, which there's not much scenery there, and
it's not desert dunes,
and it's not really
sand.
Like moist and juicy. It's just kind of dry and
Arrakis.
sandy. Yeah. Oh my God, the comparisons to Dune in this.
Yeah. Dune. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth, easily my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah.
I love getting to see someone who we've seen in such a regal form of a good guy, obviously playing Thor. And I know, obviously, he's been other good guys and like various other things. Like I know he was in those Extraction movies and all that. But getting to flip the script and play a villain, which we have seen him take a villainous turn in Bad Times at El Royale. But this goes a little bit further. He definitely got to like ham it up in that, but this one,
he's unhinged.
He just gets to be completely unhinged, and that was such a joy to watch. He was the comedic relief. He was an insane villain. He was a lot of fun. I honestly like compare him, and a lot of you probably get this from the trailer. I compare him to like Heath Ledger's Joker from Dark Knight.
Kind of.
There's a lot of the same kind of nature of unhingedness going on, and it really looks like Chris Hemsworth had a ton of fun being able to play that character and just let loose, and we all get to enjoy it because of that too.
Yeah. I could kind of see coming off of like say Thor: Love and Thunder, where he was a little bit more silly. Kind of that similar, but just allowed to go
but
full
still dark.
throttle with it. Yeah.
Silly but dark, because there's a lot of darkness to this character of Dementus. There's just a lot of like stuff built up. I mean, we get a little bit of his backstory throughout the movie, and you can tell that his villainy comes from a place of pain as well. And it really shines. He really just shines through incredibly in this entire movie.
Yeah. The rest of the cast I thought was fine. Again, a lot of them, especially like anything involving Immortan Joe and the Citadel, it's basically, if you remember them from Fury Road,
they're back again.
It's them. So you're not having to relearn new characters. You know who Immortan Joe is. You know his hierarchy involving his kids, the wives. You know what they're talking about when they're saying that they need a war rig or whatnot. You understand
when they want to be witnessed.
Yeah, you understand all of these terms. Yeah, I still don't understand that. That was weird, but I like that. I like the familiarity and keeping it close. But yeah, Chris Hemsworth is the standout. George Miller, please do another spinoff, but of Dementus now.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep spinning off each character off the back of another one.
Every time we make a Mad Max movie, you just find that one character who's just an amazing or awesome badass, and we're just gonna make a movie of them.
Exactly. Visually speaking, this movie, again, like we said, coming off the back of Fury Road, is more of the same kind of visuals. You get a lot of like the high octane set pieces. One thing I do want to mention that I really particularly enjoyed is how many one takes there are in this movie. I felt like at some point I was sitting there like, this feels like the 12th like one take. And when I say one take, we of course mean those shots that are continuous or feel continuous without the camera cutting. It feels like one shot going from beginning to end, and there were so many moments I was like, wow, we're watching like some master filmmaking techniques happen. Because not only are we dealing with the visuals that George Miller had in his mind, but he's also applying these levels of camera work and cinematography to it as well.
Technical skill behind the camera.
And that just really, it's little things like that. And I say little things because most general audiences may or may not pick up on them. But it's little things like that that really just elevate and add to the fun of the movie itself.
Yeah. Anyways, overall, I enjoyed this movie. I think it's kind of a step up from the previous Mad Max movies. All of you who love Mad Max, please don't come at me. Just, I'm trying.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a fair shake. I will probably watch them again later, just to try again. But yeah, I thought this movie was fun. I liked it. I will give this out of 10. I'd give this a good 7. I will say there was a part somewhat in the first half that it started slowing down for me just a bit. Yeah. But I mean, I was still able to follow along and keep pace with it. So
yeah, for me, I would give this probably an 8. And it doesn't go any higher because those of you who know me, I'm not a big fan of like grossy, gory looking kind of stuff, and there was a little bit of that here and there. This movie was for those who want to know, this movie had more moments of that than Fury Road did.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely some maggots on some body parts and some obviously Furiosa loses an arm at some point. So that kind of stuff kind of eats away at me, and that's not necessarily like a technical reason to knock a score down, but for me personally, that's why I give it an 8 out of 10.
Anyways, that is going to do it for our review for Furiosa. What did you think of the movie? Let us know down below in the comments. While you're down there, make sure you also hit the like button and subscribe. Make sure you follow us on social media. We are at The Cinefanatics on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. You can follow me personally at RCA Reacts on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Letterboxd, and YouTube.com/@RCA Reacts. I'm getting better at that.
And you can follow me at Chris Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, and Twitch.tv/Chris Adams MLP.
Anyways, thank you for watching this review. We will see you later in the next one.